Wow, what a day we've had. Thanks everyone for participating with lots of enthusiasm. Thank you, Valentina and Marta, for putting a nice meal, look, it's a Freudian slip, but nice meal as well. Nice day together. And whenever we had a coffee break, it was not just coffee, it was so much. So thank you for doing that. It's excellent. You've set some standards for discourse meetings. Now it's going to be really hard for anyone to meet it. Anyone want to do this in Chicago next year? No takers. Great. Okay, so this is going to be a short but nice wrap-up session. I just want to generate some thoughts from the floor about how we move forward with certain things, and also to wrap up with the working group discussions we've had. As you've seen, the working groups are at different stages at the moment, and we had a lot of discussions back and forth. But I thought it'll be nice to talk about certain procedures, expectations that we can have from working groups in general, not any particular group specifically. So this is the thing that you alluded to, I guess, Sunny. Maybe I can kickstart the discussion. Number one, I think one sense that comes to us when we see a list of projects being listed is, wow, exciting. People are doing these things. But there's also sometime later, a few seconds later, we also feel like, wow, I wanted to do that. Somebody is doing it. Is that right? Yeah, okay, great. Now, I think that's an important thing. I am explicitly something that we need to talk about. How can we work together? How can we kind of, come to a situation where everybody wins in some sense? And I don't have any prescription for that. I would really, really love to hear from everyone. And if any models that work in other groups for things like this, it'd be excellent to have a chat about all of that. Okay. But Sunny, maybe you want to start with some remarks, and then Valentina can.
First,
Yeah.
You go first. I was concentrating on the screen.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think
Oh,
that.
mic is off. Mic is off. Sorry.
Okay. So, like I said at the beginning, for us, and I mean the group working on linguistics and neurolinguistics here at IUSS, the clinical perspective is a privilege perspective to understand how language works. Of course, researching language in psychosis from the perspective of discourse has a strong focus on the impact of patients' life. But for us, it also has an important theoretical impact. And I think that the day we just had, the different talks were extremely insightful on both sides, because we discussed theoretical aspects, we discussed the distinction between language and thought, we discussed the best tasks, the best features, aspects related to pragmatics, social cognition, and semantic aspects. And this is really, like I said to Amelie, core questions on which language and psychosis research is illuminating us. But on the other hand, we also got insights on what we could do to ameliorate patients' life. We got idea on treatment approaches. Should they target semantics? Should they target pragmatics? Should they target what is the best outcome measure? We discussed it with Susan and Natalia and Marta and Lena in the specific working group, but I think that inspiration on this came also from the work of other people. And I think that this combination of perspective is really a treasure. So thank you all for joining this event in Pavia. Thank you, Lena, for trusting us with the organization. And yeah, I hope that we'll have many other days like this.
None of them will be quite like this. But I think that everybody's heard enough from me, Lena. Do you want me to summarize anything?
Sure. Well, I thought we would offer some opinions on how we go ahead. Maybe I can kickstart.
Yeah, well, we've discussed some of.
Yeah, we discussed some of them. So one issue that myself and Sunny discussed, and I think, it'll be interesting to see what people think about is the working groups have different number of people, different compositions, but everybody is open. It's welcome. Everybody's welcome to join. It's open to everyone. So one of the principles we thought we should put together like a ground rule is anyone who is participating in a working group, who is contributing to a project, to a question, is welcome to join the outputs that's going to come from it. So if there's a paper, a position paper, everybody is open to everyone. But then the authorship, of course, depends on many things, what contribution people make, and who leads the project and all that. And one of the things which will be important for us moving forward is we're just beginning. As I said, we're just starting. It's very exciting, but it is only a beginning, and it's important for us to consolidate the gains we get in the early stages. So for that to happen, it's really important for us to track what kind of outputs we are putting out as a group. So one suggestion I made to Sunny was if there is a paper that's coming out of working group, if there is a position statement that's coming out, anything that comes out of a working group, let's make sure that the working group is mentioned as an author in the list. So you might have seen things like this in Enigma Consortium, other consortium. Always interesting, Enigma OCD working group, Enigma CHR working group, so on and so forth. Well, Enigma has like 50 working groups. You don't have that much, we have like 5 or 6. But this is really a suggestion, not a prescription, and I would really like to hear what people think about that. Yeah, Alban? Thumbs up. Oh, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay. We've seen a lot of thumbs up.
We did talk about operationalizing, like what that meant.
Yeah.
We thought that any study that includes certainly with 3 or more sites, we would consider to be probably a product of Discourse or a product of a working group. Like a bilateral collaboration, I think it's more up to the specific project, how it's being worked out. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense to everybody here. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the people who collect the data, I don't think it should just, I think people who collect the data it should be like the PI of the people who collect the data should basically be able to name whoever they want to as an author on papers. Not maybe for a position statement, but if you're using someone's data, then they should be obviously, I think. It's tricky, but I feel like now the norm is just give away your data freely, but I think it's a little bit different with clinical data. It takes a huge amount of time to collect. It's really difficult. The other thing is I'm really glad you brought up, Lena, the tension about people I wanted to do the same. It reminds me a little bit at the beginning of when functional neuroimaging came along and people were scared, who's gonna get a Nature paper or something like that. I guess maybe with I guess one of the things I learned is that even things that sound the same often quite aren't. But I think Sunny's idea is making it kind of transparent what one's doing. For example, topic modeling, my God, you could look at topic entropy like we did, or you could look at what precise words people are using. There's so many different ways to use it. And so that's just the secret of communication, to say what is your primary interest? Why are you interested in that? And then hopefully at least I've usually seen things kind of work out because things are never one person's interested usually is kind of actually quite different from others. But I'm glad you brought that up because I think it should be, and it's all very well to wave your hands and say everyone collaborates, but I think it's really important to be clear about if you're using someone's data, then you should be very clear about not stepping on your toes, but at the same, if you're not using someone's data, then that's fine. You should look what happened between you and from Judy. It's perfect. So independent replication is perfect.
Yeah.
Especially in this field.
Yeah.
There's so many books.
Yeah.
So, but if you're using other people's data, then, that data.
And just to ascribe credit appropriately, that was Lena's idea to register the studies and to describe them.
I think so you identify the topic and you talked about it during meetings, everyone has an idea what's going, then bring some names out there, then slowly get into an abstract, and the abstract you can get information on what exactly are we going to do here. And at that point, it's more well described and it's also open for people, they're not working on that level, but they're working more on review, on what's been done in the past, for example.
Yeah.
Something like that. That will make a lot of clarity as well. So they're all doing something with double modeling. I also want to do something with double modeling. But I think this is might be worthwhile for other groups also to make some more well-defined statements of what actually is going to happen. There is the review, is the paper, what computational measure are you using, but that will slowly develop. And at some point, also, these groups will be getting close. Like we have 3 parts of paper, we don't need much more help, need a month more, 2 more, and then we'll publish it. But that will work organically, I guess. At some point, you got to do these further stages. And then we'll shoot.
So that's great. Thank you, Gina and Melbourne. And one other thing that came up, so what I hear is, I'm just summarizing here, bilateral, like only 2 groups interacting with each other. We don't have to involve the whole discourse shebang for the paper list. But I think still it's a good idea to acknowledge in the acknowledgements that Discourse Working Group contributed to the discussions, and Discourse in some sense contributed to development and emergence of this collaboration, because that will help us in a way to track what is the impact of the output. What do you think about that?
I think that's, or we can say it's optional, because I
Yeah.
think, I think depending on the working group and the topic, some of them will be more, more related. I mean, I think the authorship, I think is optional. I think acknowledgements are free, so.
It only costs a journal, honestly.
Yes.
Okay, great. And the other thing is, if more than 3 groups are involved, then, of course, working groups involvement would be appreciable.
Yeah.
The third is registering the proposals. And I think, this is a good scientific practice as well. If you develop a proposal in the working group, put it as a living document, also opens up for others to contribute to it and see if others have some opinions about it. And another suggestion that came from Sunny, I'm going to use a label so we all remember what that is. This is duds in the list of working memberships. What I mean by that is people who are there but have never shown up for 2 years for any working group meetings. Should they still be counted as authors or co-authors? And a good suggestion that Sunny made is we should review working group membership every year, see who's contributing, who's not. Any strong objections for that?
Well, and my suggestion was specifically that we can have a list of members and a list of affiliates, so that all the affiliates get, meeting updates and they get the emails and things like that. But we have some determination of the members are the people who are actively contributing either through data, ideas, discussion methods, something like that.
Nancy?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. I would just think that it would be helpful to have in a list what the expectations are or what it would entail to be a member and stuff, just so everybody's clear and making sure they don't just they miss one meeting too many or something.
It's a good point to clarify the expectations. Yeah.
I also think that I think it could be good to let's try to understand why the people are not participating, if it was for health reason that someone is saying even if I would see different someone that participating
Yes, it was a great point.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe we should clarify. This is not just not coming up and showing you a nice face, which is welcome, but not emailing, not being, completely losing interest and not motivated in it. And it's hard to assess that as a leader every time, like if you're leading a group. I think, we have to set some time, it's like 1 year or 2 years. It's okay for people to say, look, I want to, but I cannot. And that's okay, I guess, right? Yeah. Gina? Yeah.
And if someone's contributing data, right?
Yeah.
Then does it matter if they show up to the meeting if they've done all that work and collected?
Oh, no, so those things I listed were one of these is sufficient, any of these is sufficient, not all of them.
Yeah.
no, yeah, I think if you only contribute data, you count, like, if you very active and. Yes. Yeah, no, we definitely, I mean, Lena and I definitely appreciate that it's impossible for everyone in the world across the globe to show up to some of these meeting times. So I think, we're, yeah.
Sandy, what is in your data sharing agreement?
Like in my institution.
The one that you showed for the study, yeah.
Yeah, that was,
What does it say?
that's came from Frederica actually and Tilo's group. I think they work on the, I'm like looking for, oh, there she is. Yeah. They're a part of the Enigma Consortium, which is for neuroimaging. So I believe that data use agreement was based on EU guidelines, right, and for data sharing, yeah.
Okay.
So I think I believe the EU guidelines are stricter than in North America.
Yeah.
So we thought that was a good starting point. But at my institution, if data is de-identified, then there's a lower bar. And I think Wolfram and I already went through that process and it was pretty simple.
And what does it say about authorship? The data sharing agreement?
The data, does it say anything about authorship on there? Does the data use agreement we drafted say anything about authorship? I can't remember.
I don't think so, but we can decide.
When we can, yeah.
I've shared lots of data with Enigma, and if they use your data, they're helping you out.
Is it on the agreement? I don't remember, but okay, yeah, okay. So I mean, we can put it there.
Something should be
Yes, we're happy to put
specified
it
in
there.
the.
Sure,
at
yes. Yeah, no, I think that's very fair.